Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're gonna be a craftier person after watching this video. Want me to withdraw your redress payment? Yes ma'am. So I work for a major UK bank dealing with the giving of refunds for missold payment protection insurance, PPI. Specifically, I'm on the team that deals with complex queries and unusual situations, as well as when the customer has further queries after we've sent out a rejection or acceptance of their complaint. A few months ago, the part of our team that calls customers with issues that the normal call centres in India can't deal with was a bit short-handed. As I'm one of the most senior team members with knowledge of all the processes our team uses, I was asked to call customers to assist as I was having a slow day, and my productivity is high enough that I can afford to spend about 2 days a week doing other tasks if need be. Most of these consist of, please explain why my redress payment isn't higher, please can you run me through how you calculated my refund, etc. With about 1 in 5 requiring specialist knowledge of a particular law or bank process. So, enter angry customer, henceforth known as Karen. Karen had been offered a hefty refund sum, around £3,000, well above the average, and we were currently in the process of paying it. Karen had rung up to demand why she wasn't receiving over £7,000 as that was what the TV advert said. Apparently we had deliberately lowered her payment because of reasons. She was kind of unclear. I explained to Karen that the TV adverts are misleading and that your average complaint handler has no control over the amount of money each customer receives, as things such as date taken out, time PPI was active, etc. are all taken into account and fed through a calculation program, which gives us a figure. Apparently I was lying. Karen demanded that I withdraw her payment and give her a new, more appropriate offer. I explained to the customer that we couldn't just withdraw the offer, and if she felt that she was entitled to more redress, she could take it up with the financial ombudsman, who would review her case. Regardless of their decision, her payment would be going ahead. Karen wasn't having any of it, and demanded I look at her files and personally pay her a bigger sum. Rolling my eyes, I humoured her and did a brief scan of her files. Oh ho, what's this? It looks like Karen was declared bankrupt about 15 years ago, and both the initial contact team and payments had missed it. To be fair, it was kind of well hidden and your average employee wouldn't recognise it. For those who don't know, being bankrupt affects you for the rest of your life, as even when you're discharged, you just go into a less bad bankruptcy. The only way out is to pay back every last penny. Anyway, for PPI, this means she's not entitled to any redress, and furthermore, isn't even allowed to make a complaint. Normally, procedure in this case is to inform the customer that you'll arrange for a colleague to call them back in an hour or so, and then to consult with the insolvency team. The insolvency team will then call the customer back to explain the situation, how it relates to their specific insolvency, and then the steps forward. In this case, her offer would be withdrawn, and she would be told her available options. However, I run the insolvency team, and all complex insolvency queries go through me. This means I'm authorised to proceed with the call, as is. Karen is in the middle of another rant while I'm looking into this, and is again demanding that I withdraw her payment and send her a letter with the amount she deserves. As said before, normally I'd run the customer through the situation and explain what their options to claim the money were. For Karen though, I apologise to Karen, polite as I can be, and tell her that yes, I will be withdrawing her payment, and sending her a letter detailing her new redress. Karen huffs and complains it took me long enough, and then hangs up. I delete all of her redress off the system, close down the payment memo, and then send the most bare bones withdrawal of offer, due to bankruptcy, letter that I can. Normally I fill in a lot of extra details so the customer finds it easier to understand and understands everything. They're rarely happy, but they understand why we have to take that position. However, we don't actually have to do that as per the procedure. Off goes the letter. First class, as the customer did seem like she wanted her new amount quickly. I congratulate myself on doing exactly what the customer wanted. Karen wrote in a few weeks later whining. I ensure the item is routed to our team that reissues letters. This ensures that the exact same letter is sent out, along with a covering letter saying, please find and close the requested information. After all, no point writing a new letter when I've already answered the query once. Quick edit. A bit of information for those in the comments who want to know why being bankrupt affects the refund. If the PPI was sold before the bankruptcy, 99% of cases, then it becomes an asset of the bankruptcy, which means anything that comes from it belongs to the official receiver, the bankruptcy owner. This means that if we paid the customer, we'd basically be giving them someone else's money. If we did this knowingly, it can be classed as fraud. Additionally, both our legal team and the official receiver's office have confirmed that the customer isn't allowed to raise the complaint themselves, and it has to come from them. I do sometimes feel bad for the customers, especially when they think being discharged from a bankruptcy means it's all over, but there's literally nothing that we can do. For us to make a payment to the customer, the bankruptcy would need to be annulled. This means they've paid back every penny, and the customer is treated as if the bankruptcy never happened. No personal mail? Well, that goes for everyone. At work, we had an outgoing mailbox that handled postal mail as well as internal. You just dropped your envelope in there, the mailroom picked it up, and then they collected mail every afternoon, and everything was fine. Everyone did this. I used it for my Menards rebates, people used it for greeting cards, bills, anything you still needed to send by mail. My landlady, although very kind, is about 1,000 years old. Because of that, she doesn't have a website or even a PayPal account, and requires us to mail her a check for rent every month. Enter Busybody. Busybody apparently had too much time and too little sense, and liked to harass anyone she had authority over at any opportunity. One month, she saw me drop my rent check in the outgoing mail bin, and was at my desk faster than I thought a £300 lady could even move. The rules say that the mailbox is only for work-related mail. Why are you sending this letter to someone in the next suburb? Because I always do. Because I have for 1.5 years now and no one said anything. Well, it's against the rules. No personal mail. Show me that rule. So she waddled me over to her desk, where she already had the internal company website pulled up to the page on the mailroom. Sure enough, no personal mail. Well, thank you for letting me know, Busybody. Could you send me the link to that page? Gladly! It was sitting in my inbox by the time I got back, linked to the webpage. This constituted a written warning, and threat of a write-up if I was caught breaking company policy again. It was obvious what I had to do. From then on, I watched that mailbox like a hawk. Anytime I saw a personal letter in there, I pulled it out and placed it on the sender's desk, along with a copy of Busybody's email, with her name and company email splashed across the header. In fact, I was so worried about this flagrant violation of the rules that after a couple of days, I decided to start checking the mailboxes in other departments, and then on the other floors. I wouldn't want anyone else to make such an embarrassing mistake after all. About a week later, the company's website was updated to clarify that personal mail was allowed if under blah blah size and weight. No one said a word to me, but I'm told Busybody got a talking to. All I know is she gave me the stink eye every time she saw me until she transferred out of the department. No refund policy? Bet. I'm not sure what that title is, but okay. So this was a few years ago, 2016 I believe, and happened in Miami. I had just finished my first summer working 40 to 60 hour weeks in 2 restaurants at a very popular tourist destination in the northeast, so was super burnt out by the end of August. Since I was still doing my undergraduate degree, I wanted to take about a week or two in between finishing up my summer work and starting the new semester. My boyfriend and I thought it would be fun to go to Miami for a few days. I found a small 1-bedroom apartment on Airbnb that looked like it was a solid bet. We didn't need something insane, but wanted to be comfortable. The total ended up being around $700 for 5 nights. Once we got there, the place is actually a studio in a questionable apartment building with barely working and unstable doorknobs and locks. Okay, fine, so there's that. But then in the room there's no screen on the broken window. It was one of those windows where there's glass panes like blinds that can fold up and down, but the thing was shattering in multiple places. But it's 2016, and everyone's freaking out about the Zika virus, especially in Miami. I know it was probably dumb to make the trip to begin with, but when we booked, the panic hadn't gotten to the levels they were during that time, plus I wasn't pregnant or planning on it. I still didn't want the Zika though, and after paying about $700, I was expecting to have at least functioning doors, locks and windows, not to mention how dirty the rest of the place was and how many hairs were all over the shower and sink. So I contact the host, who tells me, the other guests had no problems, use bug spray and you'll be fine. Girl. After going back and forth a few times of me explaining why to take Zika seriously, that I do not feel comfortable sleeping exposed to all the mosquitoes in the hot zone the city had dubbed to be the most potential for infection, and asking if she could fix the window in any way, maybe come seal it or bring a screen. It's not my responsibility to repair this woman's Airbnb after all. I finally punted and asked for a refund since we would need to find another accommodation. Coming off a very long season of dealing with people's crap, I was over it. Well, Ms. Host tells me I can't have a refund since she stated on her profile, regardless of the circumstances. I say no worries, thanks for all your help. I reach out to Airbnb and they tell me that they cannot refund my money because of the host policy on their page, but they would give me a credit of my stay on my account to be used in the future. Okay, but not what I needed. I needed to go to a hotel now, which costs money. I reach out to my bank, tell the sweet southern woman on the phone of my extremely dramatic Zika exposure whirlwind, tell her that I'm not staying at the Airbnb property and I will not pay the charges. And just like that, my account grew about $700 that day. We went up the coast a bit outside of the Zika zone, got a great hotel, and had a good vacation. Okay, so that's all for r/MaliciousCompliance. I really hope you did enjoy it. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. My Twitter, Discord and Patreon links are in the description. And also a quick note to my patrons. Today is the last day to leave a comment on my post about which subreddit you would like to have a special video on, as the Wheel of Decision will be spun tomorrow, and I'll be making that video. And also, of course, as it's Sunday, I want to say a massive thank you to my wonderful patrons. BackwardsDDog, Tyler Miller, Jen Burton, Jen Spanning, Bo Walker, Princess Kate, Skyler A, Elizabeth Filmore, Stephen Arnowitt, Shagar, Koltin, James Scanlan, Darkimedes, and David Temple. Thank you all so much for your support. Mwah. That's for you, but keep it between us, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Bye!